I'm going to ask you about Hulk Hogan taking over TNA. And 2009 in TNA was a interesting time. I think in maybe, I don't know, a short time beforehand, you created the women's division to be something more than just a bit of eye candy and women calling each other bitches. And over the course of the few years you were there, maybe in 2009, it's almost like a teenage, like a horror film with a load of teenagers in it, and just like one teenager at a time gets plucked off until there's just one remaining. As far as backstage staff, because I think at the beginning of 2009 would have been you, it would have been Russo, obviously, Cornette, Savio, which is why it was in the script. Maybe Road Dogg even was working there at that time in 2009, I don't know. But
and Savio.
Yeah, and Savio. And tell me about the process of beginning of 2009 to the end of 2009 and all the backstage personnel changes, yourself included.
Well, they cleaned house. I don't know. I never really understood what the end game was for TNA. I don't think they were losing money. They weren't making a lot. I think they made some, or the guy would have dumped it. The old man Carter would have dumped that. It was Dixie Carter's father. And his company, Panda Energy, out of Dallas, they were the owners of TNA Wrestling. And when 2009 hit, I think that Bischoff and Hogan somehow got to talking to Dixie Carter, telling her what was wrong with the company. She began agreeing with them. And I think by the time June came or May came, Jeff left first, Jeff Jarrett. They sent him home. And I asked him what's happening. He said, well, they're trying to tighten ship. And then I think I went the next week, and I'm gone. Then Savio went, Road Dogg went, because he had to keep some people there to keep it running. And then Hogan and Bischoff came in. They kept Russo, kept him, and it was a ship on fire, is what it was. And everything changed. All the pushes changed. I guess I quit watching it. When I'm done with the company, why am I watching them? I'm no longer interested in them. And I just quit watching them. And did things get better? No. Did they get worse? No. So, but they were paying Hogan a lot of money, Bischoff a lot of money, I guess. But I wasn't there. And all the people that came in under Jeff's Jarrett is run there, they were all gone.
When
was that the question you were asking?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When Jeff went first, did you sort of see the writing on the wall for all of Jeff's allies?
Oh yeah, I saw it, because Jeff and Dixie never really got along in business. They may have got along in private life, I guess. I don't know. But in business, no, Dixie didn't understand the business. Dixie thought that if a talent came to her and told her something, well, that was the truth. She wouldn't come to one of to me, or even to Russo, or the Road Dogg, and ask, is this true? Is what they're saying true? Because she would just take, I guess, their word as gospel, and that's the way it was. And she would come to the back a lot of times if she liked a talent. She would come and she would lobby for them to do this certain angle or this certain gimmick that a talent that she liked, that they wanted to do. And she would come and she would broach that with us. And she wouldn't even know what she was talking about. So whatever she was trying to deliver wasn't delivered. It was just that we need to do more with this certain talent. And if we wanted to do more with that certain talent, we would be doing it already, or have it in the queue. So what we had coming up with this guy, and then she would go up to Jeff, same thing, and she thought Jeff was just being hard ass, or that. See, he would argue with her. I wouldn't argue with her. I would say, "Well, let me check into that." It's like, you're going to argue with the boss? I mean, you can argue, but then if you do something with the talent and he gets over, then who was right? The boss was right. You actually lose more than you gain. Anyway, but it was when Jeff left, I said, well, I'm not far behind. I was the next week, or I was 2 weeks later.
Who gave you the call?
Who did give me the call? Terry Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
He was the charge of talent relations. And he called me up and he said, well, did you expect me to be calling you? And I did. He said, well, it's here. We need you to. You're done. We want to finish you up. And we'll pay you the rest of the month. And then we'll no longer be together. Very nice. And I've got a lot of, in wrestling, you get hired to get fired anyway. So I said, thanks. And he said, okay, stay in touch. I said, okay. Of course I didn't, but no need to holler and scream and just be pissed off about it. It's business. And it was, of course, to lose your position or a job at any time is not good. Because now you're looking for another one, or you're looking for some way to replace the money that you lost. I mean, you haven't lost it yet. You're just not going to get it. You haven't earned it, but it was tough. It was really tough those couple of years.
Yeah. What was the excuse for firing Jeff? Was this just the whole Karen angle thing at the time?
Oh, I don't think it was a Karen angle. I really don't. I don't know what actually. See, when you say Karen, you got to say Kurt. And Kurt was very, he was very boisterous about Karen and Jeff. I wanted to stay out of it. I learned about it actually way secondhand later down the line. I learned about it. But I don't know how much she had to do with it. I think she just wanted to make a change, and she did. So I don't think Karen had anything to do with that, to tell you the truth.
This might be. I'll leave this question till last, and then I will shut the podcast down. So where do you think this is all coming from? Because what you've said just about Dixie then, and previously about Dixie, is that she would very much parrot somebody else's opinion or wants or needs or something like that. So someone would get in her ear, convince her it was a good idea, and then she would carry out whatever orders. Do you think ultimately getting rid of, as I say, you and Cornette and Savio and Road Dogg and pretty much all of the backstage staff who was, making TNA good, do you think that came directly from Dixie? Do you think it came from Vince Russo? Do you think it came from Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, who were planning on coming in the future? Where do you think the not that the blame lies, but the directive came from?
Well, I think it's a combination of all of them. Because when a company changes management, they change all the people right underneath them. They're going to change everything. So that's another thing, is creative gets all the blame when it's doing badly. And of course, when it's doing good, the talent they get all the credit. But I think it came from a combination of all. I think Huck had some people he wanted to bring in. And then I think, and they kept Russo, which surprised me because Russo and Hulk apparently, up to that point, hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dixie kept Vince, because I think he was her contact in creative. Because I know that I wasn't calling her, and I don't know if Jeff was calling her or not, but she kept Russo, is what I'm saying. And then now, can you imagine having a creative staff of me and a Road Dogg and Jeff and Savio Vega and who else?
Disco.
Disco wasn't really on creative. He was just on.
Kevin Nash was in the meeting sometimes as well, wasn't he?
Very, very seldom. No, nobody wanted to come to those meetings, tell you the truth. Listen, if I'm sitting around the table and somebody said, "Oh, we're going to do it in committee style," I say, well, now I'd say, you got to leave me out of that. I'm not doing a committee style anymore. You know, if you're going to do that, you need to have 2 or 3 guys. That's it. And anybody else surrounding them are note takers and just getting stuff done. Because you can't have everybody around the table sitting around, because everybody's got a different idea. And I'm not saying one idea is better than the other one, but you got to have a head guy who says, all right, we're going with that idea there. So put it in your head. That's what we're going with. But see, the creative, if you have, sometimes there'd be 6 guys there or more sometimes. But we finally got it whittled down. It was me and Jeff and Vince. And that was it. So, and we got a lot more done.